about to run it up. Hold up, let me fuck it up.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Thursday night, and you know what that means. It means your Firebirds are playing some Overwatch.
Overwatch dose.
And tonight, it's a pretty important match. The Firebirds defending the first place spot, and I'm confident they might continue to hold it, going into next week, which next week is going to be playing the number 2 team. As of now, the number 2 team, the scores might change, but I am excited to see what the Firebirds have in store for us. As always, I am your host, The Bearded Man, and I am joined by one of the greatest casters in the world, one of the greatest, the greatest Rainbow, or the
greatest Rainbow Six Siege caster.
The greatest Rocket League caster that I know, Flair, who also casts Overwatch, and I don't think I could cast with anybody else.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can, because you are one of the greatest Overwatch casters. Now that we're done gassing each other up here, what we got on the docket tonight?
So your Firebirds tonight are playing the Illinois State University Redbirds. Firebirds currently at a 6-1 record, whereas the Redbirds have 4-3 records, so a little bit of a difference there. We're going into the map record. We see the Firebirds 18-9, whereas the Redbirds 15-14. So they're a pretty even team there in the map record. But I gotta say, the Firebirds, a majority of those 9 losses, the map losses, have been map number 1.
Map 1, yeah. I was about to say, it must have been map 1.
And I think, last week was the first week we had one map 1. So I think, in reality, I'd say that's more of like an 18-3, because
sure.
map 1, we're not counting map 1.
Minus map 1, of course.
It's a warm-up.
And this is a reschedule, correct? This is our spring break reschedule?
Yes, this was our spring break reschedule, spring break being 2 weeks ago. Not quite sure when everybody else's spring break reschedule is, but I gotta say, though, Firebirds are the only team having 6-1 record. The next highest team, which is UT Rio Grande, is 6-2. So
because ISU beat them?
No. So that's another fact. ISU beat UT Rio Grande. So I think technically, because ISU won against Rio Grande. But the Firebirds, I'm not quite sure what Rio Grande's map record is, but the Firebirds, I think, still had a better map record. I believe their map record, now that I say that, was 19-9. So they had played more maps than us, which we don't need those. We play what we need.
Extra maps when we're too busy winning.
Exactly. But the Firebirds, I am very excited to see what they have in store for us. But before we talk about map number 1 of tonight, let's meet the team. Welcome back, everybody. I gotta say, the Firebirds, I love that intro. I think it really shows I love also Shinbone's, classic pose, showing off the gun show, I gotta say, what are you expecting from map 1?
Well, map 1. No, I'm expecting map 1. I'm hoping we play on Antarctic Peninsula, because it's fun.
It is fun.
We've seen rolling from the Firebirds and getting rolled for the Firebirds. And since, we already... It's just one I'd like to get out of the way, because it's the one I have the most uncertainty about, even though I have complete uncertainty with control points in general for the Firebirds. But that's the one I'm most, iffy on. So I'd like to see that first. But if not, I'm thinking... which one? Is it Nepal?
Nepal, usually we see. Also Oasis every once in a while.
Yeah, Nepal's the one I prefer. I like Nepal for the Firebirds, just because it's a map that's been in the game forever. I didn't realize we got the chat.
We do have the chat open.
Now.
Somebody noticing my dressed up just a tad bit. Got to spice it up.
That's on me. You dressed up the jersey, or you are?
I wear the jersey underneath the flannel.
Jersey under the flannel. That's
called
crazy.
Style. Firebird style. We need a fashion show at this point. Marketing, showing off how to wear our jerseys, because we have 2 jersey variations. We have the short sleeve, and then we also have the hoodie style, which is still the kind of the jersey material, but long sleeve, and they got a little bit of a hood. And I think you can really style that in multiple ways.
Or you could be like Flair and probably never wear Carthage attire for any commentary I've ever done.
But you still bring style to the game,
I try a little.
Yeah.
I keep the hair
I bet
clean.
you dress up for your Rocket League streams.
I don't. I don't. The only reason I'm ever in a jersey for that is because I'm usually playing that day as well.
Yeah, that's very fair. But I agree with map 1. I think we saw from the interview last week the Firebirds did play Antarctic Peninsula despite the awful record on that map. They played it because they just want to get it out of here. They want to get it out of the way, because then if they do end up playing later on, which usually when you're heading into those maps 4 and 5, you can't risk a loss. So they just kind of put it out of the way, like, hey, somebody's going to be playing it. Let's get out of the way. But after the win last week, I'm expecting maybe the Firebirds are a little bit more comfortable on this map.
Yeah, maybe they'll come out strong. I mean, also, you got to think, ISU, lower seeded team than last week, right?
Yes, I believe they are in the fifth seed of the division, the Challengers division as of now. So I think, I believe they still locked in for playoffs. I'm not quite sure. But the Firebirds definitely have. I don't think even losing this week and next week.
They are definitely locked in for playoffs. There's no way they can fall out of that spot. They will make it no matter. I'm not sure if they've guaranteed a top seed yet, but I do know they have guaranteed making playoffs.
Yes, but I know that on Tuesday we learned the Rainbow Six team did also secure the playoff spot. Unfortunately, they did drop out of the first place. But I think, they'll come back strong. The first seed doesn't really matter. What matters is the end, the result, And also going into next week, their matchup is pretty difficult. But I think I'm excited to see the Firebirds this week and next week. I think they've really found what works. They found that chemistry. And I got to say, as of about a half hour ago, we now have a majority of the Firebirds hitting GM. We do have officially... I can guarantee both supports in Grandmaster so far. The technically second highest rank. Both supports. Fuzzy and Nancake's now both Grandmasters in this game. Yeah, which is the high. So basically, Grandmaster is the highest rank outside of top 500. Which top 500 is just if you're in Grandmaster and you're so good, you're in the top 500 of the United States.
Wow, correct me if I'm wrong, but is Shinbone not also Grandmaster?
Shinbone is also Grandmaster. Coming in, I believe coming into Overwatch 2 as Diamond. Leaving, I believe, Overwatch 1 as Platinum.
That's some crazy grind we're seeing out of the Firebirds to be a majority Grandmaster roster there.
And the rest of them are very close to Grandmaster. I don't know the exact details.
I think Lunar Synergy has been dipping in and out of it, he was telling me.
Yeah, I believe that his current rank is just High Masters. Not quite sure if he's reached that point. I'm not quite sure.
I would like to say Donuts on the ground, but we know Donut doesn't play Overwatch outside of Overwatch practice.
Well, Donut's on another level. I'm sorry.
Donut just has raw talent. Because I won't lie, the amount of times I've been like, so do you ever play this game? Like when do you practice? Like, dude, I don't play Overwatch outside of match days.
So it's weird. I know Donut on a very personal level. Really close friends with him. I'd like to think so. And he's the highest rank in Halo. And he's just also like the highest rank in so many other games. Yeah. That it's just, I don't know. It's weird. He's
not
just,
Rocket League though. I can confirm. Having played with him, No.
You
Stick
haven't
to the
played with me.
shooters.
You haven't played with me though. So
Have you haven't beaten the tutorial?
no, I have.
Oh, you
I
beat the
officially beat the
tutorial.
tutorial, and then haven't played online though. I've been playing against bots, working on my skills. So now I'm not officially at 2 hours in the game,
All
as
right.
opposed to like
All right.
an hour. Yeah.
Hey, there we
Honestly
go.
though, I honestly am really wanting to start grinding it because
Oh.
I have really been having some fun in Rocket League. I will admit.
Bearded Man Flare Rocket League stream coming soon.
Maybe. I will say this though, we are actually finally getting to the match. Both teams a little bit of a late start here. It looked like both of them were finishing up some warm-ups, but Antarctic Peninsula was banned, and it looks like we're going to be going into
Flare wrong.
Nepal map number 1.
Flare was wrong.
Flare was, well, we didn't know. We were still trying to figure out what the bans were. But Nepal, what are you expecting the Firebirds to do on Nepal?
Win
Win
is
Okay.
my hope.
Okay.
I'm hoping
I like
for
to
a
think
win.
that, you know.
I'm thinking Shinbone will play Genji, and I'm sure there will be just some like moment where the Firebirds are like do or die, and Shinbone's got to like make a 3K on point to make sure they stay in it. Feel like that'll probably happen. That's my early prediction. Other than that, I think it'll be a solid. The thing I'm looking for here is for the Firebirds to stay consistent at staying together as a team. Because the thing that really has been able to win them control point, the couple times that they have, is when they're able to stay as a team, and even more so when they really focus on keeping their tank on the point and having everyone else do support from either behind the point or where there can be natural cover. That's where we saw a lot of success on Antarctic Peninsula. Similar stuff can happen on this Nepal map, not so much on the tower in the middle one, but this one specifically, the one shown on screen.
The village map, I think the Firebirds have had a lot of hit or miss. Of all the Nepal maps, I think this is the one they've had the most failures. But it's hard to say at this point. I love the design of the map in all honesty. It's funny though, there's 2 maps in Nepal. I'm pretty sure. The other one is the monastery, and I'm pretty sure that's in Nepal.
Yes. The monastery is, I think, probably the strongest for the Firebirds.
Yeah, the Firebirds have the times the Firebirds have played on that map. The Firebirds have, to say the least, dominated. So I'm excited to see what the Firebirds have in store for this map. Unfortunately, the audio is not working, but we have some technical people working on it as we speak. But the Firebirds, their starting lineup, we see Donut is going to be running that Reinhardt, Lunar Synergy running that Symmetra, Shinbone on that Mei, Fuzzy on that Baptiste, Nankicks on that Lucio. And for the Redbirds, we see Kiriko Main running that Reinhardt, Poke running Symmetra, Smiggy running Smiggy, running May, Shuffle running Lucio, and Pasta on Baptiste. It is a mirror comp here. We are seeing both teams play the same roles, same characters. So I'm excited to see who's going to, as we say, diff the team. Whoever's going to be different. Whoever's going to be causing the difference.
That's a great Maywall, though, to start off by the Firebirds.
A great Maywall. We don't see the Firebirds play May that often, but we see Donut being Maywalled off as well. But Shinbone able to take out the Lucio, and the screen is frozen because everybody is just blown away by...
Oh my gosh, the Firebirds got a team kill. The Firebirds get a team kill while we weren't looking. And they will capture the point to start map 1.
You know, it reminds me of like Saved by the Bell, where they just, stop time. I think it's Saved by the Bell. They stop time and then, talk to the camera a little bit. And then all of a sudden you resume and it's like stuff happens.
I've never seen Saved by the Bell.
Me neither. But that's why I'm waiting for somebody to say that wasn't Saved by the Bell. That was Boy Meets World or something. I don't even know if...
You're talking TV shows that I was too young for, Bearded Man.
That was before my time. Another little bit of a screen freeze there,
Maybe
but the Firebirds are continuing the dominance, making sure Donut, using that blizzard, the Firebirds are able to just kind of mop up the rest of the Redbirds. Baptiste being walled off. Donut with a 4K there. And only one of them to the
uncommon Donut 4K.
Yeah. Donut somehow pulling off that 4K. Pretty interesting to see. Now, the rest of the Firebirds really holding their own from what it looked like. We're only seeing Fuzzy have the ultimate at the ready. Lunar Synergy probably going to have it ready for this next fight. But we do see the Redbirds using the teleporter up on top, but the Firebirds are already knowing that and turning to expect that. We're seeing dueling amplification matrices coming out here, and Kirikoman unfortunately taking Shinbone out, which is going to cause some issues, and the Shatters coming out, knocking Donut out of the fight. Kirikoman with a double kill there on Reinhardt. That is going to be so weird to say. But the Firebirds really are being pushed off of point, but a lot of time being burned, and unfortunately the Firebirds losing point, but they have that, they can afford it.
And they're almost able to get out of there. Firebirds now regrouping. We're going to see a little bit of poking going in by Shinbone there, then he'll turn back for some health here as we wait for the rest of the Firebirds to continue onto the point. They should be able to be all grouped up now. And we'll start to see the entry as Donut makes his way back to the front lines.
Definitely. You got to say, though, the Firebirds are having to deal with 3 ultimates from the Redbirds. We see the Redbirds have the Symmetra Wall, the Blizzard, and the Beat Drop. Firebirds don't have any ultimates. They are near Beat Drop.
The teleport up.
They are going to be using the teleport up there, which is going to allow them to kind of drop down, but the Symmetra Wall is going to cause some issues, and hopefully we are going to see the Redbirds popping that Blizzard, which the Firebirds are able to kind of spread out and not be affected by it too much. Donut getting a charge kill, or charge kill on the Symmetra, and the Shatter coming out from Donut, knocking a few Redbirds around. Not any direct kills. NECC and Shinbone unfortunately falling, but Donut is still in the fight, using the Fire Strike, doing a ton of damage, but it wasn't enough, and the Firebirds are going to fall for this next fight. It is unfortunate to see, but the Firebirds probably going to really decide, hey, this is what's going wrong. They're not out of the fight yet. They probably have one more team fight before they really have to start running in and worry about speed. Looking at the Redbirds gaining all the way up to 71% in this fight, holding enough of the point to tie it up. So I'm curious what the Firebirds are going to pull out. This looks like they're playing the same strategy here, though, using the teleporter onto the high ground. We do see Litter Synergy on the ground as the Symmetra trying to do a little bit of almost poke damage. Will it be enough? We do see Shinbone popping the Blizzard, going to be freezing the Baptiste, which is going to be so good for the Firebirds. Now they don't have to worry about many of the supports outside of Lucio. But Lucio is not going to be able to heal up the rest of the Redbirds as well as they hope. And we see Shinbone popping the wall, making sure to cause some issues for Kirikoman, knocking him out of the fight. The Redbirds have reached the overtime point, 99%, but the Firebirds, just different, are able to kind of eliminate them.
Firebirds just different. That's the quote of the night already. NECC will get Fuzzy back, so we'll have the full team ready for this next little set of defense. It should really only be 1 to maybe 2 more fights. This might be it, to be honest, if the Firebirds drag out this fight just for a couple seconds. But I think also the Redbirds are also agreeing this is final fight. They're going to go up top and try the Firebirds tactic with dropping in.
Yes, but we do see that Donut has the Shatter. The Maywall going out, though, a little bit early there, which is going to be very good for the Firebirds. We are going to be seeing the Maywall also being dropped onto the site, and the Firebirds are able to take out a few of them, along with that Shatter, the beat drop being popped by the Redbirds, but the Firebirds are holding their own, doing a ton of damage. Maywall going out, blocking Donut out of there, but the Redbirds popping that Blizzard. It is now overtime for the Firebirds. They cannot leave point. We do see Shinbone trying to 1v1 the Baptiste, but immediately returning with the Maywall, blocking the Baptiste out of the fight, and Donut's just going to be there swinging the hammer, knocking them around. The Redbirds are going to be holding their own, though, until the rest of the Firebirds are going to mop them up. Firebirds winning round number 1 on the control point.
Yeah, it was a solid play by the Firebirds at the end. A little cheeky. Donut almost got locked out by Shinbone there.
Let me in, please.
That was interesting. Shinbone immediately having to recall the wall because Donut was going to be stuck in no man's land. It was probably, Donut's worst nightmare. Finally, the Maywalls have turned on him.
Yeah. Open the door or I'm going to throw rocks through your window. I love to see it. I love that because I've done that so many times where I just accidentally wall off, the person you don't want to be walled off. But I'm excited to see what we see from the Firebirds on this round number 2, which is going to be I always forget the name. It's the inside place. I believe it's
Temple.
Sanctum. I
Sanctum.
I believe the exact term is Sanctum. So I'm excited to see what the Firebirds are going to be pulling out from this map. But I don't know. We're trying to get that audio back, so we're going to be missing a little bit of the fight here, I think. But we might still be good.
We'll get it
because we do have that time There we go. We didn't miss anything.
Boom.
The control point just now opening up. None of the Firebirds dead, but they're going to be running Reinhardt, Junkrat, Soldier, Kiriko, and Baptiste, whereas we do see the Redbirds running it up quite different. Sigma, Cassidy, Hanzo, Zenyatta, and Kiriko, and Shinbone getting an early pick on the Zenyatta, which is going to be key because Zenyatta kind of has the home field advantage, being in this temple, knowing the ins and outs, but also the Firebirds just being different on another level. Unfortunately, NECC's taken out by Poke, who is the Redbirds' Cassidy, and the Firebirds just having to kind of push that ground without having the double supports there. Only having Kiriko, but I expect NECC to be back in the fight very shortly. And now we see Lunar Synergy on that Junkrat, which is going to be really good here, especially against the Sigma, being able to kind of knock people around from the distance with those grenades. Unfortunately, Fuzzy is picked off, and Donut's kind of alone there, but he's going to dive in, try and cause some fights there, but it wasn't enough, and Donut was eliminated from the fight. The Firebirds not able to hold this ground like we saw in map 1.
Shinbone almost just barely able to get out of there at the end. Wow, Shinbone really wanted that extra health back, and it cost him probably about as much as that health pack healed. Firebirds now going in for their second attempt, trying to make sure they don't give up too much percentage here, but it will be tough as they're not going straight for the point. They're going to try and get a few picks first, but with Poke getting the Deadeye on Lunar Synergy, High Noon, I mean, Deadeye is Red Dead Redemption.
Honestly, I think there is a sound quote, an audio quote of him saying Deadeye. Deadeye's watching or something. But honestly, we're seeing the Firebirds kind of hold their own, but get it picked off the backline. So Donut playing a little bit aggressive and alone. So hopefully we're going to see the Firebirds kind of gain this ground. They've lost 40% of the point compared to their 20%. So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, we do see the Firebirds Donut switching to that Orisa, which I think is going to be good against the Sigma. Sigma's orbs can pierce and penetrate shields, so no wonder it was doing a lot of damage to Reinhardt. There's nothing he could really do, especially when you're kind of alone from your team. His damage is not the best, but I think Orisa is the smart choice here, especially pairing it. Now the Firebirds having 4 ultimate abilities.
Shinbone just got boosted up top there with a little play with Kiriko. I don't know what that might have been, but we're seeing the Shinbone Kiriko ult. Not able to get a single pick, though. Might finally get one, and the shield comes out just in time. Firebirds onto the point. They can't cap it. 76, we see the Sigma ult now. The window's being thrown. Riptire is out. It gets one pick, but ultimately Firebirds falling down one by one as NECC goes down. They're stuck in the back of the point. Fuzzy will get a little bit of heals on Donut, and they're going to try and get back out there because we are approaching the final 15% here.
I think the Firebirds are really just kind of struggling to get these eliminations. They're doing a ton of damage. Unfortunately, though, as I say that, Shinbone is able to get some really key picks, forcing the Redbirds to kind of back up and allowing the Firebirds to capture point. I don't know how many percentage points they're able to capture with this hold, but hopefully it's all of them. Hopefully they can hold it till the end, but they are slowly gaining that ground. About 30 seconds left before they tie it up. What are you expecting to see in this next fight?
Well, I'm expecting to see a lot of ults be popped here. I'm expecting. There's one. There's the
Dragon
Strike from Hanzo there.
Allowing
not able to pick anyone off, but does create some space. Smeagy will finally get Shinbone though.
Yeah, Shinbone out of the picture is going to be bad for the Firebirds, especially now. Donut is basically alone. Alone off site, so there's basically no way for him to retreat outside of maybe a support coming in now. The Redbirds did recapture point, and we do see Fuzzy popping. That cleanse, unfortunately, wasn't in the range for it to affect Donut. So Donut's really having to fight and really having to pull their own. However, we're seeing the ultimate ability come out, not able to really do any sort of damage, but is able to push them around. Unfortunately, Donut and NECC are eliminated, and it looks like the Redbirds are going to capture the remaining part of point. Fuzzy being eliminated, it is not looking good for the Firebirds, and round number 2 goes to the Redbirds. What went wrong there?
I think the Redbirds just did a much better job at isolating the tank from the rest of the Firebirds there, which is funny considering they didn't have a Mei that time to do that. And really the Firebirds just didn't really have a counter to it because without the extra tank, our DPS didn't get the cover they needed, and so they couldn't hit as many easy shots as they usually can. And ultimately the team falls apart without the tank. So
yeah, I'm very curious what the Firebirds are going to pull out of their pocket, their magical hat of tricks. But looking at the rest of the Firebirds, I mean, you coming off of that loss, you got to change that mentality. We have that round 1 where we played phenomenally, and looking at the comps here, we do see Donut, Lunar Synergy, Shinbone, Fuzzy, and Nancakes on Reinhardt, Symmetra, Reaper, Brigida, and Baptiste, whereas we look at the Redbirds playing a D.Va, Sombra, Genji, Lucio, and Kiriko, so pretty interesting composition here. So interesting that the camera keeps freezing, apparently. We are having esports. This is a lot of technical issues, so hopefully we can get that figured out at the break. But we do see Shinbone using that Reaper, hopefully trying to get some poke damage on anybody trying to flank, especially that Sombra. Now, we do see the Symmetra once again, who I think is pretty good on the site, but you got to be able to switch off when it's not working. Those turrets are going to be able to kind of intercept the D.Va when they're trying to flank in, and we do see the D.Va trying to go onto our backline, leaving the point open for the rest of the Redbirds to kind of secure, but that's not going to be enough because Donut's just going to hammer. He's swinging that hammer around, taking out two of the Redbirds, and Lunar Synergy on that Symmetra, finishing off the Lucio. Really good choice here, but Shinbone is having a battle against a few of the Redbirds a little bit far up towards the spawn, but was able to back up when needed.
Yeah, very key to be able to get out of there and make sure you don't give up an unnecessary pick. We'll see a switch over to Wrecking Ball, which will be an interesting thing. Both tanks actually been very interesting. We saw D.Va earlier and now Wrecking Ball now. I'm not quite sure how that's going to synergize with the team because Wrecking Ball is just kind of being a nuisance off to the side. Maybe that's the whole game plan, trying to let the DPS go do their thing on point, but it hasn't quite worked out for a pick yet. And now Wrecking Ball is actually getting destroyed there by Shinbone and the rest of the Firebirds.
Yeah, Wrecking Ball against the Reaper is the last person you want. I mean, you have that speed. And honestly, we might see a very funny strategy where basically Wrecking Ball attaches to the center bell and just swings and swings and swings and swings kind of until the grapple stops. But I got to say, Poke on that Tracer and Smeagol on that Pharah against the Firebirds. Firebirds don't really have any hit scan outside of Baptiste, which Baptiste is usually focusing on doing just healing and damage to the front line, but we'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, Lunar Synergy taken out by the grappling hook, which is going to be very bad for the Firebirds, and we do see the barrage coming out, but Nancakes is just going to pop the Immortality Field, protecting everybody. Shinbone and Nancakes getting 2 kills there on some really important people. We do see Shuffle getting the revive onto the Pharah, but Shinbone unfortunately falling as well, but the rest of the Firebirds just holding their own, making sure to cause as much damage, and they're in overtime, so the Firebirds cannot afford to lose point. Well, they can't.
They can very much afford to lose point. It's Redbirds who cannot afford to lose this fight here.
And that's not going to stop them because Donut's just going to use their Earth Shatter, knock everybody around onto the ground, and the more and more damage being done, that hammer is just great on this site because you swipe it once and that's covering basically everybody in front of you. Also, it's not a bell, it's a pillar. I don't know what I was talking about before.
You were looking at the bell up there.
Yeah.
As you said it. That had to be it.
But, the Firebirds having to regroup here, I think it's because we saw a few ultimate abilities being popped by the Redbirds, which you got to be watching out for that barrage in this next fight. The Firebirds don't have any ults here.
Yeah, I think the key thing that happened in that fight was we didn't have a very decent hit scan hero, and Mercy got a very good res on Smeagol, which ultimately allowed the Redbirds. Oh man, birds on birds on birds. Bird is the word.
I'm shocked you made that reference and not me because I never even thought of it. You got to see Donut switching to Winston, though. I think that's a good choice. We're going to be able to see a little bit more damage being done to that Pharah. That being said, a little bit of a solo ult there against Donut. Kiriko main taking out Lunar Synergy, but Shinbone and Nancakes making sure to compensate and just do a lot of DPS and make sure to take out some really key players for the Redbirds. But the Firebirds really not touching point. They're focusing on getting the eliminations first, and we see the dueling Tracers here, but will we see Shinbone get the Tracer diff? No, the health pack going to the Redbird, but the teleport, the recall is going to go, and he's not able to get the pick. He's so close. Will we see Shinbone?
No, and
Shinbone is
falls.
now... I can guarantee you Shinbone is livid, but Lunar Synergy using the magnetic grenade, finishing off the Tracer. Donut on the Winston once again, a great counter to the Wrecking Ball, and we do see the Lucio as well, but once again, Winston is going to be a good counter to it. So the Firebirds just really good picks against what the Redbirds have, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it switch, but that's not really working out because the Firebirds getting some key picks. Donut's just finishing off the remaining, and we're going to see the high noon from Lunar Synergy. Will it get a pick? No, but it's going to really scare people around, scaring the Lucio off point, and the Firebirds are going to secure round number 3, allowing them to finish off this map. Map number 1 going to the Firebirds.
Very nice job of the Fire. I do wish we had sound, and I also wish it was still April Fool's so that we could hear Winston say Winston every single time he jumped around the field. But ultimately, yeah, this was a great shatter.
Oh my
here.
gosh,
that
was beautiful. One of the classic donut shatters. Beautiful to see. Casual 4K.
Casual donut 4K there. Ultimately a team kill. We are going to go cut to a quicker break this time so we can try and fix that audio. But when we come back, we will have hybrid, right? Is number 2?
We'll be having hybrid for map
I know
number 2.
the game by now. We'll see you in a few.
She's all I want, she's all I need. She's everything but she doesn't know me. From my glasses off, forever alone. Use my me while I'm falling down. She's the cutest girl from this east side. My life in this game all day, all night. Living with my fears, no place to hide. Is this real? So tell me why I'm living in this way. So tell me why you're still raising my prayer. And I'm so scared to feel whenever. Cause you're the one I want forever. So tell me why I'm living in this way. So tell me why you're still raising my prayer. And I'm so scared to feel whenever. Cause you're the one that I want. We can meet at 9 p.m. She's all I want, she's all I need. And today I'm feeling so lonely. I roll out backwards, it's all I got. Switch my brain off and I can't stop. I'm the loser boy, always online. I just wanna be a girl from this east side. Living my side without a smile. Is this real? So tell me why I'm living in this way. So tell me why you're still raising my prayer. And I'm so scared to fail whenever. Cause you're the one I want forever. So tell me why I'm living in this way. So tell me why you're still raising my prayer. And I'm so scared to fail whenever. Cause you're the one that I want. We can meet at 9 p.m. You and me, end to end. Take me to hell at 9 p.m. You and me, end to end. Take me to hell. So tell me why I'm living in this way. So tell me why you're still within my brain. And I'm so scared to fail whenever. Cause you're the one that I want. We can meet at 9 p.m.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm sorry about that. A little bit of a longer break, longer intermission, but we are told now the audio works. So all that is now you're able to hear the game, which is great. We had our best people working on it, and we are ready for our normal type of cast. And I am excited to see. It looks like map number 2, the Firebirds are going to be on Blizzard World against the Illinois State University Redbirds. Firebirds winning map 1, but it was a 2-1. They went into the third control point, so a little bit of a tougher loss on round number 2, but I am confident we're going to see the Firebirds excel on Blizzard World. We've seen them do really well here in the past, and I'm very excited to see. What are you expecting from them?
I hate how you can't just keep asking me what I expect. I expect them to win. They're the first place team.
What
I expect them to win.
What strategies?
What do you mean, what strategies? I don't know strategies in this game. I'm gonna assume they're gonna do the thing where they stand up there to start and then they drop down eventually when someone runs around behind them to get to the point. They're gonna give up at least one tick, then they're gonna fight for a little bit, then they're gonna get rolled on the point, give it up, we're going into the travel, and then we'll stop them before they hit the second point.
I really hope that's exactly what happens, so we can actually like put that audio over a recap of what happened, and then it would be perfect. But we do see Shinbone on that Sombra, which I think is going to be a pretty interesting situation. We rarely see that. But we do see that the Redbirds are also running a Sombra, but I think Shinbone might be a Sombra diff in favor of Shinbone. But we'll see. I mean, we're seeing the Sombra for the Redbirds cause some issues for our backline, but Fuzzy's just on another level, is able to get to sleep, and we're going to see Shinbone finish off the enemy Sombra, and the Firebirds not even phased by it, still holding that high ground, not dropping just yet. And honestly, looking at the Redbirds really grouped up, you know, they only have the Kiriko, which is basically a one shot away from death, and the Ashe Dynamite is going to be doing a ton of damage there to the D.Va. So otherwise, the Firebirds still holding their own, which honestly, when you don't lose the high ground in that first fight, it's a really good time. And we do see D.Va against the Sombra, not a good choice. I mean, we are going to be seeing Shinbone hack the D.Va quite often, to the point where the D.Va's just a walking hunk of meat there, basically, that the Firebirds can just freely do any bit of damage there. And we see the sleep coming out from Fuzzy again. What a beautiful sleep dart there.
That's that newly found GM level of sleep darts right there.
Oh yeah. The type of sleep darts that I never hit. So we are seeing the D.Va try and focus on the Orisa, but we're seeing a lot of really good plays here. We did see Sombra, Shinbo taking out the enemy Genji. Probably a little bit salty there that we're seeing the Genji, you know, he's just like, oh hey, I'm better Genji despite me playing Sombra. But we're going to see the EMP coming out, and Donut's just going to mop up the rest of the Redbirds, mixed with Litter Synergy, and NECC's getting the res on Shinbone, making sure to bring him back into the fight. Now Shinbone making sure to really hack those health packs in the back line, ensuring that the Sombra can't get them, and that they're going to be able to return quick enough for the rest of the Firebirds to use them up and heal back to a decent amount of health. Now the Firebirds burning a lot of time off the clock with that initial fight, gaining a lot of ultimate abilities, but I mean, so do the Redbirds. Redbirds have 4 ultimate abilities, probably 5 in the next fight. So you got to be careful, especially with that self-destruct. Shinbone on Sombra, I don't know. We might see him switch off kind of shortly here, because we're needing a little bit more damage, but you know, we also have
it's working so far.
We also have 2 GM supports, so like, you know.
You know, I mean, so, you know,
just a lot of damage. They're able to do damage as well, you know, especially Pancakes. But Shuffle on that Lucio, trying to do the beat drop, but it's not going to really work out in their favor. That being said, the Redbirds popped 2 ultimates there, 3 ultimates maybe, and they're able to kind of get a lot of kills. But that's what you'd expect if you use 3 ultimate abilities. Shinbone's still in the fight, using the teleporter, trying to get away. Unfortunately, not able to get away. Kiriko main getting 3 or 4 kills there on the Firebirds, but again, the Redbirds used 2 or 3 ultimates.
The only thing I've been incorrect about is them getting 1 tick before the rest. Other than that, it's the Firebirds started up top, dropped down when one snuck around, won a fight, then got rolled in the next fight, and now they just have to stop him before he reaches second point here.
Yeah. See, that's when I say what strategy, that's the strategy, you know? Maybe.
I don't think that's a strat. I hope the strategy isn't get rolled on the second time through.
We'll see. I mean, we're going to see Donut pop that ultimate, but everybody's able to kind of teleport away. Kiriko and Sombra both having teleports. A pretty interesting duo. Shinbone's still on the Sombra, though. It's kind of working out, but we're seeing a lot less damage than what we'd expect. NECC's popping that Mercy. Valkyrie able to kind of attack or heal from above. Lunar Synergy making sure to take out one of the supports, taking out that Kiriko, who is not being played by Kiriko main. And Firebirds still holding their ground. Lunar Synergy taking out that Lucio. Exactly what you want to see. Unfortunately, Fuzzy trying to get that kill, that little bit of damage onto the Sombra. Not enough, but Shinbone is able to anticipate the Sombra's teleport and taking them out. Now the Firebirds pushing pretty far up. They're going to have to back up just a little bit, and that's exactly what we're seeing. They push forward, and then they take it back down. Then they do one hop, and then, you know, do the cha-cha slide.
Reverse. You know,
Reverse. Charlie Brown, you know, it just works out. I got to say, though, they're still sticking with the D.Va despite the Sombra, which is the best counter to D.Va, in my opinion. So, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I think
they might switch maybe after we see the D.Va bomb go off.
I'm still shocked they're playing Sombra despite the Firebirds countering the Sombra as well as they are. Like, Fuzzy, hang on a second. Fuzzy getting a double kill with the Coalescence. Donut finishing off the D.Va main, or the Kiriko main, the D.Va, but D.Va was able to take out Shinbone there with the self-destruct. Now's the time that we'd see Kiriko main switch, but it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing
Doesn't seem like
that.
it, I guess.
Not quite, but
Kiriko main was very much an off-tank main in Overwatch 1. I'm starting to realize.
yeah, I mean, in this game, it's okay to be kind of an off-tank. I mean, D.Va works, but when you're up against a Sombra, and a Moira, you know, those are two people the Defense Matrix does not have an issue with. And we're going to be seeing two ultimates. We're seeing the EMP pairing with the Dragon Blade from the Genji, but it's only securing one kill. Lunar Synergy's Bob being able to secure another, and Lunar Synergy getting a double kill in the process. Fuzzy and Lunar Synergy losing in that fight, but the rest of the Firebirds still holding strong. Unfortunately, Donut getting a pick, but so is Kiriko main on Donut, so the Firebirds having to kind of lose a little bit of ground here, but Shinbone having that EMP, I'm expecting great things in the very
sneaky little EMP is about to come in right here.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to see them. I don't think they're going to be able to push it to the point. That's my prediction.
Yeah, and that will go along with my my call, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing Shinbone have a little bit of issues with the other Sombra. You know, they're having a little bit of a, I'd say a meet cute almost. You know,
a meet
cute. You know, they see each
They're
other.
Gonna start
like,
a love story.
You love Sombra? Oh my gosh, I do too. But then their Shinbone is just gonna kind of forget about it, you know, and run away. Use the EMP very shortly. Please use the EMP. Prove me right. We're not seeing the EMP, but we're seeing the Transcendence being popped away from sight. Unfortunately, Donut is hacked, but he's going to be able to be unhacked very shortly. There's the EMP onto the Redbirds. Unfortunately, Shinbone also picked off there, but Donut using that ultimate, not able to get anybody. Fuzzy able to take out the Zenyatta, though, and getting picked off himself, but he's able. The Firebirds are really just focusing on getting them off a point. It's not so much a kill, but just a, hey, you were not going to be touching point. The overtime clock is very much close to finishing, so now they just have to buy like a split second off, and that's exactly what Donut's going to really excel at with that spear spin. But as I say that, the Firebirds are losing their footing.
Oh no, might give up point number 1. Oh no, I was wrong.
Yeah, we were both wrong. It's okay.
Oh well.
Except it happens less often for you. I'm wrong all the time. But for you, you're usually right. So it works out in my. I don't know. I'm a little bit happy about that. You know.
You're a little happy I'm finally wrong.
Maybe just a little bit. Unfortunately, though, the Firebirds are going to have to move it into this internal site, which honestly is the most difficult place. And a lot of times you're going to see this is where teams hold. I got to say, though, again, the Sombra is just causing so many issues in this fight. Being hacked is not a fun time. But Shinbone is going to be anticipating. Yeah, it's another meet cute.
Another meet cute right there.
Little cute moment there. But you just got to really focus on that Sombra. Donut able to kind of do a ton of damage into the Zenyatta, but Lunar Synergy finishing it off. And the EMP comes out from the Redbirds. 36 seconds on the clock, and the Firebirds. Lunar Synergy getting a double kill there. Donut getting a spear kill. And Shinbone trying to hack the Ana, which honestly, if he was able to get that off, he would have gotten some ult charge. So it was a good attempt, but it wasn't working out. But he did get a little bit of a wave there.
Yeah, final fight incoming. We'll see Poke switch over to Cassidy as Smiggy will stay on Genji. So no Sombra in play this time, just straight, a little more DPS. And it's the final fight here for sure for the Redbirds. Ugh,
Very
which
true.
birds?
You're gonna have to be watching out for that Genji blade though, who that could cause some issues here for the Firebirds. But because they're gonna be ulting Donut, and Donut's gonna get a spin blade, taking out the Immortality Field. Shinbone and Fuzzy getting kills on Reinhardt, Genji, Cassidy. The Firebirds just getting a ton of kills, and Donut with the open season spear hit. It was like you're duck hunting, you know? They're just
Like a little
flying
duck
through the
hunt.
air.
There it
A little bit
goes.
of a duck hunt. Pew! Salute it, you know, throw the spear. Yeah, it works out. It works out beautifully, and the Firebirds are able to hold them. But there's a decent amount of distance the Firebirds have to push the cart. But if the Firebirds are able to push the cart all the way to where the Redbirds did, they win this map.
Doable.
Also, hang on a second. Firebirds won map 1, and we didn't even talk about that.
That's right. We had some technical difficulties that made us rush out of that one. They did win map number 1.
Which is the second time this season that they've won map 1.
But real quick, Bearded Man, what do you expect from the Firebirds this time around?
I'm expecting a full push without any resistance.
No. Let's hear some analysis. Why?
Some analysis.
Why?
So the Firebirds
What are they
going
going to do differently? How are they going to be the better team? What
because-
composition, strategies, some might say.
So they're going to be playing probably a brawl composition. Shinbo going to be running Genji. I'd expect Donut to be running probably. I don't know. I don't think they're going to go dive, but you know, I think that now that I think about it, they're probably going to go dive. Dive onto the point. Dive onto the high ground. Okay, Donut's going to dive onto the high ground. Rest of the Firebirds are going to make sure to really support him and get those heals on.
Really? Okay.
Now the Pharah is also going to be a key play because he's going to be raining death from above. And looking at the Redbirds composition, they're going to be running a bad count. Basically, nobody able to really focus on that Pharah outside of the Diva. The Firebirds are going to have a lot of damage there, and then once they capture point, I'm expecting them to probably just continue to dive onto any sort of position that the Redbirds are holding until they push it all the way. Now the Sombra is going to cause some more issues for the Firebirds, but Firebirds are kind of waiting for that. They're expecting it. They're kind of like, oh, you've played Sombra however many times in a row. You're probably going to be playing Sombra again. I'm wrong immediately, though, because the Redbirds aren't playing the high ground.
They aren't even playing the high ground.
Which, I think they're very much split up here, though. And Winston is going to be, Donut is going to be diving onto their high ground. Unfortunately, though, the Sombra is going to be taking out NECC, and every prediction I was going to be making is falling apart as I speak.
Well, it's not so easy, is it, to think about the strategies and the compositions?
But you know, the color commentary is usually the one who's doing the analysis. I am but mere the play-by-play.
Interesting.
Not so easy. Now you know how I feel during Rocket League.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I'm wrong normally, so nothing changed. It's the status quo. You know, it's the High School Musical song, stick to the status quo. And here we are.
No.
Stick to the stuff
Whoa. We are obviously too talented to keep singing. They're going to copyright strike us for it being the real thing.
Yeah. Lunar Synergy getting an early pick on the Genji and a double kill onto the Zenyatta. Shinbo getting a pick on the Ana. So the Firebirds are in the favorite. Both of the supports for the Redbirds are there. And Lunar Synergy is just going to be like, hey, I'm going to just continue to shoot you. And they're not going to do anything about it. And Shinbo is wanting to get that Diva DMAC. Waiting for it, tasting it, craving it, until they're not able to get it. Oh my gosh, he's probably fuming at this point. But will we see it?
Falls. That's a big overcommit by the Firebirds there.
A little bit of greed there, but the Firebirds did secure point, so it's more of a fast back, you know. And the Firebirds basically have all their ultimates. NECC's falling behind in the ultimate game, but you know it's a Mercy ult, so you know it happens. We have a lot of really good ults here. I'm expecting a Nano Blade very shortly. I'm hoping for a Nano Blade.
I mean,
I thought as I said that the Nano Blade.
You have a 1 in 4 chance of being correct about the next ult. So,
see, Shitboat hasn't gotten a 4K yet, so we haven't seen that yet, and this could be it.
One.
As I say that, that's one. But the Diva defense matrix is going to cause some issues, and the hack. Unfortunately, Firebirds, 2 of the Firebirds falling, but 2 of the Redbirds are going to also fall, so it's a pretty even fight here. And that's why we're seeing now Donut being nanoed. A nano monkey is exactly what you want, and Donut's going to have it. He's going to have it ready. You're opening the book to Chapter 2. Donut
Chapter
on that
2?
Chapter 2.
What's the book?
Well, the book of plays.
The book of birds?
The book of birds. Chapter 2, paragraph 1. Donut on the Winston. Just nano him. I took that from a very famous Rocket League player, so I will say that. I stole the line opening the book and turning to Chapter 2. It's from the legendary PD of a Rocket League team.
That did sound like my roommate there.
That's a little bit of a PD line, and I loved it so much I've used it. I used it in R6 the other day, so it works out. But Shinbone and Donut getting a double kill there, allowing the Firebirds to kind of push forth. Unfortunately, Lunar Synergy taken out, but he does have the barrage, and the Firebirds are just continuing to apply that pressure forwards. And the Firebirds just not really phased by it. It's only the D.Va, and Donut is just going to be a good counter to D.Va. I'm shocked we're still seeing the D.Va here. Winston is unaffected by D.Va, so it does shock me. We're seeing the Transcendence being played, soaking up a lot of the barrage, but Donut, but
balls in the shield.
Getting
balls in the shield at least.
Balls into the shield. I love what we're seeing here. The Genji can be popping the blade for the Redbirds, but is only going to get one kill, and Fuzzy's just going to finish them off. A double kill there. Fuzzy is...
Nah.
Nancakes with the teabag?
Shinbone says nah.
Nancakes getting the teabag, but not Shinbone. Wow.
That's crazy.
Normally, I mean, Nancakes is a pretty toxic player in person, but not in game, you know? So that's pretty shocking to see. Firebirds really gaining that ground, and we are going to be seeing a Primal Rage probably here very shortly, mixed with a Nano Blade, I bet. And the Nano Blade is all you're going to need, but we're not even going to need the Nano Blade. We have 3 ultimate abilities that
Redbirds.
the Firebirds use.
Redbirds, you've C9'd it.
Yeah.
Where?
Oh my gosh.
Where are you at?
A C9
Where are you at?
A C9. Oh, Shinbone's stealing the play of the game. Oh my gosh. I love Sombra's play of the game. We can hear Shinbone once again screaming as per usual, but I love that Sombra's play of the game animation will always play somebody else and then steal it.
I had no idea. That was nuts.
I gotta say though, like a C9 is heartbreaking. So
That's
a C9
crazy.
is a very it's a common mistake. Okay, where basically you go for a kills and you lose the objective. It's heartbreaking to see. It happens to a lot of teams, but like in these competitive.
Why is it called C9?
It's called C9 because a very famous esports team, Cloud9, once did it in a professional game of Overwatch. And therefore, that's why C9 has always just kind of haunted them.
It ended
forever.
their season.
It ended their season.
It ended their season.
They were playing for kills and lost the objective, lost the season. Unfortunate. It happens often.
It does happen, but wow.
It is
crazy.
heartbreaking to see. You know, you kind of just have to, you just miss it. And I think it's going to really affect their mentality going into game number 3
Yeah,
tonight.
because Firebirds are now on match point.
They're on match point. And the Redbirds, they have to win 2 more here for them to have any sort of chance. If they lose tonight, they might not be able to, they might not qualify for playoffs.
It will put them in a tougher spot, but luckily being 4-4 with only a week left, I think they will still be in a decent spot for playoffs because I know there are some teams that are really down in the trenches.
Yes.
And I believe there's only 10 teams in this one, so only 2 people don't make it. So their high seed is definitely in question if they lose tonight. But either way,
we will see.
You want to keep that momentum going forward.
Definitely. We will see what happens in map 3 after a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to map number 3 of tonight's Overwatch match. Your Carthage Firebirds against the Illinois State University Redbirds. Firebirds winning maps 1 and 2. Map 2 near flawlessly, I think. No, I mean, they had a few moments where it just kind of the Redbirds used several ultimate abilities, catching the Firebirds off guard, but the Firebirds were able to come back and stop them, resulting, unfortunately, in a pretty unfortunate loss, a loss of the payload on that defense for the Redbirds. But the Firebirds are fired up and ready for map number 3, which is Junkertown. And we do have a slight change up in the composition. The Firebirds now running Crazy Mage on tank, Psychopreds on that DPS, Shinbone on that DPS as well, and Fuzzy and NECC as always on those support roles. Now on Junkertown, we are normally seeing a lot of sharpshooters. So I think that is something we're going to see Shinbone excel at. But whether or not the Redbirds know that, we might see the Redbirds really play cover, because this map is notorious for those sharpshooters. Those long-distance snipers cause some issues. But the Firebirds are on attack, so what do you think Crazy Mage is going to run on tank?
Ah, darn you. She could have beat
you knew I was going to ask that.
I should have beat you to it. The moment you started that sentence, I was like, Crazy Mage running tank. My guess is Sigma is my guess, but also he's been getting a little more comfortable on. We've seen him on Reinhardt a little bit. We've seen him on Wrecking Ball a little bit. But my actual guess is gonna be Doomfist. Oh, look at that! He's Doomfist.
So I have to say, he's not gonna play Doomfist.
No.
Crazy Mage has, in the time that I've known him, he has never played Doomfist. I'm waiting for him to prove me wrong. I'm hoping we see a Ramatra.
I didn't think Ramatra is just kind of a beefier Sigma in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. It's just a lot of overlap with Sigma.
Yeah, I was gonna say they play similarly in my own opinion.
In Europe.
I'm probably wrong in the opinion of many others.
We are going to be seeing Crazy Mage running Sigma, so we are right there. Psychopreds on that Junkrat. I think the Firebirds on this composition really good. Poke, though, on the Widowmaker, trying to get a little bit of a trick shot, but Crazy Mage is like, nah, you're not going to do that. And instead, we're going to see Shinbone maybe attempt it. It did hit a headshot. Wasn't enough to get a kill, but it was a headshot. Headshot nonetheless, which is an achievement. But don't install! Oh my gosh! I was gonna say, Shinbone double kill! What? Oh my gosh!
Alright, Shinbone.
Not needing the trick shot is just gonna be a different player altogether, and is able to kind of make Poke regret trying to get that trick shot. Oh my gosh, that is a... Shinbone is on another level right now and is ready, is fired up, and I'm loving what we're gonna see here as they move basically to capture the first point. I don't think we're going to see them capture point at all. Poke, unfortunately, getting the headshot on Shinbone. A little bit of a revenge there. Revenge shot, but will the Redbirds regain this footing and stop the payload? They have contested it, but it is being contested by one single Redbird, which the Firebirds are going to just kind of knock around, especially Psychopreds, able to knock around a few of them, unfortunately not getting a pick instead of getting picked off himself. But the Sigma crazy Kiriko main is really just causing some issues for the Firebirds. But because the Firebirds have a little bit more, unfortunately, Shinbone getting picked off twice as a Widowmaker. But Crazy Mage's finally finishing off the other Sigma, so it's establishing that Sigma diff there. Will we see Shinbone kind of retaliate? We might be seeing him get a little bit more heated. But I think it's because Widowmaker is at this advantage spot, this vantage point here.
High ground advantage.
A little bit of high ground with a lot of cover. Unfortunately, I don't think Shinbone's really going to be able to get anything. We do see Poke getting the shot and taking out Fuzzy. And Kiriko main taking out Psychopreds and NECC there. Firebirds are losing this fight. Kiriko main with a triple kill there. What an unfortunate play, but you can see literally every single one of the Redbirds assisting in that kill in some way. Shinbone is bloodthirsty at this point, wanting to just take out that Widow, not stopping until they are out of the fight because they have finished off several of the Firebirds, and Shinbone is ready. He is fired up. So I'm curious what the Firebirds are going to pull off very shortly here to regain the point.
Yeah, I'm not really. I think one thing we just have to avoid. Oh no, did you just get stunned out of the ultimate there?
Boy. Firebirds.
That's not good.
Firebirds, that Sigma being stunned out of point, and Shinbone really trying to get some sort of shot here, missing that shot. And the Hanzo doesn't have the grappling hook to escape, unfortunately, is taken out, and Poke is really trying to line up those trick shots again and again. Firebirds
Tell
not
you what,
having...
one thing I think that what Firebirds maybe need is a mix-up on getting Shinbone off of Widow, because Shinbone's just kind of trying to isolate that Widow 1v1 right there when he could probably be getting a little more value on the rest of the team. And maybe by switching to either Genji, where he does like to get a little more up close and personal with the team, but also we need to see a little less overcommit from Psycho Preds. These plays over here have led to him dying a few times. So we'll see if there's some success as he goes in for the Ana.
Yeah, now I think now that Shinbone was able to take out Poke, it's going to be a little bit better. The biggest issue was that Poke would take out our backline, and just the rest of the Firebirds were struggling to get those heals. But now that Poke is a little bit having to return a point, and we also do see Shinbone, as you said, switching to Genji, which is going to be the good counter to that Widowmaker. But unfortunately, NECC's falling again. The Riptire going out, taking out Poke, so Shinbone is all the way behind the enemy team, and the Firebirds just kind of scrambling here. It's overtime, and they haven't pushed all the way to the point.
They're finally getting a few picks here, though. Shinbone gets one. You might see Crazy Mage get another. There's the Primal Rage being activated. Knock him off the point, at least.
This is unfortunate to see. The Firebirds basically losing point now, and the overtime clock has finished. That was interesting to see, at the very least. I don't know. The Firebirds were just playing solo games. It was very
yeah,
clear.
and you know, maybe part of it is the fact that we do have a couple substitutions in that don't usually play with the starters all the time. So there may be a lack of synergy here. Maybe a lack of lunar synergy.
You know, every time you say synergy, my immediate thought is lunar synergy?
All right, give me my pity laugh. Thank you. Thank you.
But honestly, I think the big issue too was, I mean, Fuzzy and Pancakes were just getting picked off. They couldn't heal. You know, Crazy Mage, Psycho Preds, Shinbone, phenomenal players. And it could work for the solo plays, but when you have no heals, that's, you know, you can't do anything.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be an impressive defensive stand here.
Very true. The Firebirds cannot afford to give up the first point, basically. They do, and they lose this map, but I'm curious what we're going to see for this hold. I mean, we did see one of the Redbirds kind of joke around with a Sombra. So I think Sombra would cause a lot of issues for the Firebirds. So I'm very curious what the Firebirds are really going to do for this defense. Looks like they're running a Sigma, Junkrat, Widowmaker, Kiriko, and Baptiste. Kiriko allowing a little bit more mobility here. And that cleanse is going to be really helpful. However, Poke's going to be playing the Sombra. And the Firebirds are just going to really need to focus that Sombra. So, it all depends on how well the Firebirds play. You know, they are not out by any means. Even if they lose this map, they are still going to be in that match point. But we'll see. You know, every moment counts at this point. You cannot afford to really lose much ground. And we will see. Now, it does look like Crazy Mage holding that front line very much pushed up, while the rest of the Firebirds are back dealing with the people flanking or focusing that back line. And Crazy Mage is not able to get any sort of heals for that fight. And I think it was because all of our heals were focused on our back line. Crazy Mage not backing up there was unfortunate to see. Shinbone was able to get 2 picks there, knocking a lot of the Redbirds off the fight, but not enough to stall the cart entirely.
Yeah, that is going to be tough. Firebirds left in a really bad spot. 3 minutes left. They need to at least win a fight real quick to buy a little bit of time. They don't even do that much, as Shinbone can't find a pick there, and the cart keeps moving forward.
Very true. Now, Widowmaker, you know, is great for getting one-shot headshots, basically, for those weaker allies, or those weaker enemies, but when you don't hit it with a body shot, you're able to knock them down to a decent amount of health, but you need somebody to follow it up. Crazy Mage is switching to the Reinhardt, but it does not look like it's going to work out. The Firebirds are going to probably lose this point. They have to touch right now.
There won't be a touch.
Just under 2 meters left. Firebirds just over 1 meter, and the Firebirds losing all the ground. They're trickling in right now. It is not looking good for them, and it looks like the Redbirds. That being said, Crazy Mage on that Wrecking Ball, still holding the ground, but there we go. Redbirds are going to be securing that point. the map number 3 going to the Redbirds, but the Firebirds still have some room to work with. They still have this next map that is match point for them. I'm curious if we're gonna see, Donut and Lunar Synergy swap back in.
I'm thinking we will.
Yeah.
And it's more so a synergy thing, I would say, than an actual gameplay thing, because I don't think I do not think Psychopreds or Crazy Mage played bad by any means. I just think that there was a certain disconnect between half of the team that ultimately just kind of threw everyone off a little bit. And in Rocket League terms, it'd be like the rotations were all messed up. But,
It was like, as you said, the synergy wasn't there, and it just came down to them playing solo games, which isn't a bad thing. It's not the best by any means, but it's not impossible. But when your supports are immediately picked off, then there's nothing you can do. So we're going to take another quick break while we get ready for map number 4, which is going to be a push map. So we will be right back with that. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's Overwatch match. It is your Carthage Firebirds versus the Illinois State University Redbirds. Now, Firebirds doing phenomenally on maps 1 and 2, but on map 3, not doing so hot. Losing that map, not even able to capture the first checkpoint on that Junkertown. But I'm hoping we're seeing a little bit more of a team play here. I think they were just really lacking that synergy. Especially we did have a few players substitute in that maybe not have as much practice with some of our team players here. But I am excited to see what we're going to see on this map number 4 on Esperanza. I cannot pronounce that. I apologize. But the map that the Firebirds have had a lot of success on, they know really well, and it's push. So I'm excited to see what we have in store for that. Especially now we do have Donut and Lunar Synergy swapping back in, replacing Psychopreds and Crazy Mage there. You do have a little bit of a picture.
I drew the team logos.
Team logos.
I drew the team logos.
You drew the team.
This is Redbirds.
That's the E-Birds?
Firebirds. Yeah, because the Redbirds logo has an E on it for
esports.
esports.
Yeah, okay, that's actually pretty good. I got to say, though, it's funny how similar they are.
It is funny.
I just now
and that is my best guess off of the tiniest bit I can see, by the way.
I think their bird is technically like a raven, or not a raven.
I think it's a cardinal.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
The letter R. Was,
Yeah, I get you.
But the Firebirds on this push, we're seeing Donut, Lunar Synergy, Shinbone, Fuzzy, and Nancakes running a Reinhardt, Sojourn, Tracer, Brigida, and Lucio against a Diva, Sombra, Genji, Kiriko, and Lucio. I gotta say, the Sombra is just, I don't know. We're seeing a lot of Sombra from Poke, so I'm hoping the Firebirds kind of expect that. We don't have much stun outside of the Brigida Bash, but that's not really needed because that's not even really a stun. Lunar Synergy, dodging, ducking, dipping, diving, and dodging.
Fuzzy.
Fuzzy is just gonna say, "Hey, you're mine," and bashing Genji with that shield. We're seeing Shinbone take out the Lucio, and another kill for Shinbone and Fuzzy. A 2-2 for Shinbone and Fuzzy. And the Firebirds are gonna push. Ronaldo is pushing in favor of the Firebirds.
Very nicely done by the Firebirds. They're really good from Fuzzy. Have the latest patches gone live yet, dude?
No.
Okay,
that is a whole other thing.
That's what I was worried about. I'm wondering about because I know Fuzzy's playing Brigida right now, and Brigida just got a pretty big buff to the ultimate there.
I'm curious how next week's gonna go because I think it literally is Thursday morning. It swaps in. So yeah, might be Wednesday, but I know it's like 6 days from now. I'm not quite sure.
Like not enough time for the Firebirds to really practice with it.
No, I mean the changes they're abundant, but they're not drastic outside of Brigida's ultimate. That's about it. And also, Life Weaver, we won't even talk about today. Not going to be in this game at all, this season at all.
The new champion?
Yeah, the new hero is not going to be playable until next season in the NECC.
Oh no!
Donut! What? Donut, go nuts!
Common Donut W. Common Donut W.
Common Donut W. Beautiful.
Team kill there by the Firebirds, and Lunar Synergy ain't done. He's going to keep on trying to take as much space as possible there along with Shinbone. Donut's moving up too, the whole team. They want it. They want it over with.
Bloodthirsty.
They ain't playing around right now.
We're done. We're supposed to end this at 3, and now we're ending it at 4. Come on.
They're going for the ATV on them, the triple collateral. Tactical nuke.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Kill streak 15.
We're seeing a lot of ultimates being popped by the Redbirds, and it is catching a few of the Firebirds off guard. Fuzzy, unfortunately, taken out. Shinbone, though, is trying to take out that Sombra, but the rest of the Firebirds are going to fall. Kiriko Main getting a double kill there. Honestly, I'm blaming that all. We saw that Kitsune rush for Kiriko is just so good.
Such a good ult.
It is a great ult for your team. Increasing movement speed, reload speed, and fire rate, and just everything basically. Not a thing you want to go up against, but the Firebirds have now... they don't have to deal with it anymore. Shinbo taking out the Sombra early on, which is going to be great. Lunar Synergy on that Sojourn is ready with that ultimate. I'm not quite sure what it's called. I just know it supercharges that railgun, and it is a great ability. The Lucio is taken out. The Firebirds really gaining this ground. Shinbone really holding their own, but Fuzzy just making sure to cause issues. Fuzzy and Nancakes, I think, are leading in eliminations here right next to Shinbone. Great plays here. The Firebirds are, you can just see they're bloodthirsty. They are ready. They are amped up. They are making sure the Redbirds are going to leave after this map. They are done. They're ready. They're ready to go to bed. Ready for this extra long weekend we have too. So.
Yes, indeed, the extra long weekend. Good times.
Yeah.
Wow, Firebirds just really aren't. Oh, no!
Oh my gosh! Clip it! Somebody clip that! Clip that! The EMP going out.
I looked up for 2 seconds.
EMP going out. Lunar Synergy just like, all right, right click and dead. Sombra eliminated without any sort of hesitation there. EMP just barely going off. What a play! Firebirds unfortunately losing it, but I think that was worth it, you know. You get that epic play from Lunar Synergy. And here's the thing, I don't think we talk about Lunar Synergy enough. We always hype up Shinbone, but Lunar Synergy is a phenomenal DPS as well. Focusing on the hit scan usually, and it's working out. Now Donut can be popping that Earth Shatter, knocking people around. The Kitsune Rush going out for the Redbirds, but nobody's able to kind of follow up with it. It's a little bit of a waste there in my opinion, but will we see the Firebirds continue and take any of the Redbirds out? They're somehow surviving. A lot of healing being done by the Lucio and Kiriko, but that's not going to be enough because Donut's able to take out the Lucio. Unfortunately, Lunar Synergy falling, but Donut ready with that Brigitte, swinging that mace around and round. Not able to kind of, unfortunately, falling to the Sombra, but Shinmon's going to meet that with a pick of his own. More and more just dominance being proven by all these players, and the Ronaldo is now pushing forward. Ronaldo is having a great time in favor of the Firebirds. Just a little bit left to go as well for this push, and the Firebirds have almost 4 ultimates here. Looking at the Redbirds only having pretty much one ultimate. I mean, 60% is a lot of ult charge needed. We could see it shortly, but I think the Firebirds just having these 4 ultimates, if they pace it, this could be it. This could be game for them if they pace it well enough. Now, the Genji is going to be kind of walking around in the backline, but because Brigitte is just unfazed by it, and Fuzzy's just on another level, it's not going to cause any issues. Donut as well, making sure to just cause a lot of issues with that hammer. Double kill there, with one of which being on the Fire Strike. It is just the D.Va, but they're not able to go back to point. The D.Va's not able to get back on the point. The D.Va was not able to get back into the spawn before Donut just knocks them out of the park. What a play. And the Firebirds are just dominating right now. Barely able to the Redbirds are barely able to touch point. Now they've switched to that Reinhardt, but because Donut is able to get a double kill, a shatter, and a bunch of plays, the Firebirds not having an issue. Just kind of just rolling it through.
I knew we were gonna win, so I drew Jordan and I during.
That's me, right?
No, I don't have a beard, Jordan.
Oh,
there you go.
I thought that was you after you like drank some chocolate milk. You know?
Oh, right,
Yeah.
my bad. But no, there's us, the commentators.
Glorious.
Focus.
You're showing them our notes. Wow.
Yeah, our wonderful. There we go. There's me.
The lighting
and
is. Hang on. We'll see the lighting. We'll improve the lighting.
No. That's his hair on his head, and then like.
Yeah.
No.
Our producer thinks I'm bald for some reason. Unbelievable. But wow, I mean, tonight's match against the Redbirds, what a match from the Firebirds.
It was. Firebirds really dominating at the end, though, really asserting their presence.
Yeah.
I won't lie, I looked up for probably about 2 seconds of that match. I watched Sombra get clipped on in her ult, and I was like, all right, back to my drawing.
I think it was very clear. The only times the Firebirds lost their footing was when the Redbirds, what we say, an ult dump. They just used 2-3 ultimates and just kind of, I mean, when you're going up against 3 ultimates, it is very hard to survive. So, you know, there's no shame in that for the Firebirds, because there's a lot of times too, like on Blizzard World, it's easier to hold in that last site. So, you know, there's a few times where I'm sure that they kind of just purposefully backed up. But that, I mean, 4-1 or 3-1, sorry. 3-1 tonight, going into next week. And we only have one more week.
One more week left. And then on to playoffs.
And I think the Firebirds are going to have a great time in the playoffs. Now, I'm not quite sure if we're going to have a post-game interview, but regardless, I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. We'll be right back, and we're going to hopefully find out if we have a post-game interview, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, for tonight's post-game interview. Your Firebirds going 3-1 against the Illinois State University Redbirds. Joining me for the post-game interview is one of the most underrated players of the Firebirds Overwatch team, a player who is there every single match, a player who, without him, we would not be able to see any of these beautiful plays. Joining me is the cameraman for the Firebirds Overwatch team. It is Westhoff. How you doing?
Doing all right. How you doing, Jordan?
I'm ready. I'm ready to see how the Firebirds are going to do next week, but we're going to have to wait till next week, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm fired up. I'm excited and happy to see tonight's performance. What did you think?
I thought it was a little interesting. It was a little different than I was expecting. I got to see the interesting plays going on in Junkertown. So unfortunately, it didn't really work out as planned.
What went wrong?
I think in all honesty, there was a little bit of positional awareness could have been better. We were just a little spread out. Things weren't going as planned. And obviously, we switched up the team. But honestly, we're all a really good team, regardless of who we put in where. We're all like very balanced players. But I think they're just not used to playing with each other all that much. So it kind of just threw them off a little bit is what I'm thinking. Other than that, I think we played fine. It was just a matter of we haven't played together that much. At least that team, I don't think has played together as much. But other than that, I think we could have switched up some different things, like the Widow. If it wasn't working, we could have switched it up. Other than that, I think it was all right.
Just a reminder, this is our cameraman. So, like, how did you get so good at your cameras? Like, I think honestly, top 500 level cameraman. What skills do you bring?
Honestly, I think it's honestly a born talent. It's not something you learn. It's something you're born with.
Really?
Honestly, it is.
It's in your genes?
It is in
what kind
the
of
literal
genes?
genes.
Your genes?
Wrangler jeans.
Wranglers? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. This stream is not sponsored by Wrangler.
That is true.
But, I think, what was your favorite play of the game tonight?
Ooh, honestly, I'm going to have to give it to Donut. I always love watching Donut. As much as I love watching Shinbone going off with those Dragon Blades or getting those giant EMPs. No 4K today, sadly.
Shinbo did first time of the season. Shinbo did not get a 4K.
But I always
close, though.
I always love watching Donuts Ryan. When I first met him and I was on the Overwatch team, I watched that man go nuts with a hammer. He just knows what he's doing. He's one of those guys. Like you said before, when before the game started, he's one of those guys that just doesn't really play the game that much. But when he picks up the game, he plays the game.
Mm-hmm. He plays it. He opens chapter 2 of the book of plays, reads from
honestly, he might have wrote it.
He might have wrote it. He did write it. He did write it. But I got to say, what is your favorite map? As the cameraman, your eyes are different. Your eyes are trained for beauty.
Honestly, I do think it is Junkertown. That's just one of my personal favorites. Okay. I always loved playing it. And being able to cam on that one is always fun, especially for the Widow plays. Like watching Shinbone last week going nuts with Widow. Even the beginning of this one, he got a nice little 2K, but it didn't work out like we saw. But it's okay. It's okay. But at the end of the day, I really love that Junkertown. Yeah. Now,
I got to say, going into next week of the postseason, as a cameraman, what are you hoping to improve on and think you're really confident with?
I just think I gotta work on my awareness at keeping it on certain things, just keep it on the action, the good action, like not little things that are happening, like the main stuff that's going on. Keep everyone entertained. Make sure everyone knows what's going on in its entirety. Because I do Rainbow Six Siege 2. I gotta manage both of them, and if I gotta do something else, I guess I gotta learn that game too.
Yeah. Now, but what about the team? What nobody really wants to care about. What about the team?
I guess. But
what do you think going into next week?
I think next week, if we just, I think the biggest thing is we gotta know when to switch up our gameplay. If we get stuck in a certain position where with things aren't working, we have a habit of not really switching sometimes, and not usually when it happens is the last 30 seconds. We're like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna just throw everything. I'm gonna go ball and start shooting everything and spinning or whatever. But
do a little bit of wraparound.
A little bit of wraparound. But yeah, I think if we start realizing when things are not working, we just gotta roll back, think to ourselves, all right, what's gonna go good against this? How can I just? Do I need to dive on the Widow? Do I need to switch it up to counter this Mei? Just finding that thing that's going to put us above them for that little push, just to get us to the next one. And then we can go back to see if it'll work. But if we find out that little edge, I think it'll make us grow exponentially.
Exponentially, I bet I'm confident to see that in the coming weeks. But you heard it here first. The #1 cameraman for the #1 team in the NECC Challengers division, in my opinion. Also, just like the only cameraman, but it works out. But thank you so much for joining me for this. This was a very interesting interview. But to the viewers at home, thank you so much for watching. We will be back Tuesday at, I'm not quite sure what time it'll be, for some Rainbow Six Siege, and that'll be a match you do not want to miss. They are fighting against the #1 undefeated team in the division. Firebirds have it in them to defeat them.
It's going to be a good one.
Defeat the undefeated, and I'm excited to see that. I will be back on the casting table with my co-host Toner. It's a great time. Please join us for that one. But be sure to follow us on all of our social medias at Carthage Esports. We have a really fun time on those, as you can probably tell here. So thank you once again for watching, and have an excellent weekend.
The high Wheaton shoves that right over to the Lions half. Looks like this one's going in. Oh, are you kidding me? Donut, we're behind. We're gonna see the barrage. The barrage.
Oh my gosh, Nico is just dominating right now.
What a play!
That's disgusting.
Oh my gosh.
That was disgusting.